Welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. Today we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think that we would need to start with Baker Mayfield, the chef. He definitely showed that he could cook last year. He showed NFL fans now that he's cooking. Well, we want to see what the full menu looks like this year. So I think that he is the key for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and if they're going to have a good season. Interesting enough, I found this article talking about one of his biggest weaknesses is the play action pass. And, I think you take that with a little bit of grain of salt. I think that for me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have to get a better run game. And I think that teams are going to respect that a little bit more, hopefully this upcoming season. And I think that that's going to help Baker Mayfield. But let's be honest. I mean, Baker Mayfield absolutely cooked last year. I mean, just taking a look at some of the numbers, threw 28 touchdowns against 10 interceptions, over 4,000 yards. I mean, and he took down the Philadelphia Eagles, and he almost took down the Detroit Lions. And so I absolutely definitely believe he deserved his three-year deal, worth 115 million. But I think that it starts and it ends with Baker Mayfield. And I think the key for me with Baker Mayfield is he's been a journeyman. You can say that, and I'm glad that he has revamped his career. He does not have Dave Canales as now his offensive coordinator. He's got his new offensive coordinator who he crossed paths with when he was with the Rams. And so I'm curious to see if they still have that connection going. They did get Mike Evans back in-house on a 2-year deal. So I think that that connection was absolutely electric this year. But, I think it all falls on Baker Mayfield. All right. And so, unlike the Cleveland Browns teams that he was on, he doesn't have that type of running back duo behind him. It's all going to be on Baker Mayfield. And I think that Baker Mayfield, well, he wants to go up the chimney because he loves all the smoke. So we're going to find out about him because I think the Buccaneers are going to depend on him a lot because at times that running game, it could not work. And so they're going to need Baker Mayfield to really emphasize, with his legs, and then also too down the field. So you're hoping that he's going to be able to make plays that way. They are hopefully going to get Chris Godwin back, and get him back to being productive like he has been sometime before with them. And they have Trey Palmer, who's probably going to settle in as the third best receiver. I like the fact that they have Sterling Shepard that's come over. You hope that he stays healthy, but I think that he's absolutely going to help Baker Mayfield, especially since they played together in college. So, I mean, they did go out there and they added some offensive weapons. You have Rashad White, who is one of the better pass catching running backs in all the league. And so I think that that's certainly going to, again, put the ball into Baker Mayfield's hands and have him go down the field. Now, I think the next big point for the Buccaneers is going to be the offensive line. All right. And so I think that that's going to be very critical, especially if your quarterback is going to have the ball in his hands and have to make a lot of decisions. They've got 2 of 3 interior spots are now like new offensive linemen coming in. So they've got some new starters up front and they've got some battles going on there. And so they're going to have to try to figure that offensive line out. So I think that that is going to be huge. Keep an eye out for that throughout the preseason. And I'd say lastly, the big thing for the Bucs is they have got to figure out what they want to do defensively. And mainly it's going to be on the back half. All right. So you know what you get with Winfield Jr., but besides him, they brought in Jordan Whitehead. They've got Jamel Dean. But then that's where I think it gets a bit interesting for me. You have a guy like Zion McCollum, who is coming off of 9 starts in 2023. So, I mean, you're curious to see what he can bring. You no longer have Carlton Davis back there. They're going to have to rely on players like a Bryce Hall to step up. And so, there's a lot of unknowns in the secondary. And I've said this before. One of the biggest things for me in NFL defenses is you don't want to give up big plays. I mean, look at the Philadelphia Eagles last year. I think that, the front four probably played well, but that back half was not very good. I've said it several times. They couldn't guard a blade of grass. And so you don't want to give up big plays. It's okay to bend, but you don't want to break. And so you're hoping that with the additions of Randy Gregory, and then also Anthony Nelson up front as vets, that is going to help out Todd Bowles and that defense, and they're able to generate pressure without having to call a lot of blitzes. That's going to help your secondary if they do make some mistakes. And so I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, I have them winning this division. Do I dare say that they're going to win about 11 games? All right. And so last time they won 11 games, I believe they went 11-5. They ended up winning the division, and I think they went on to win the Super Bowl. So I think that the Buccaneers could quite possibly do that after coming off a year in which they won 9 games and won this division. I think that there is a lot riding on this particular team, and I expect for them to win the division to start off. But again, we'll see what happens when preseason ends and things like that. But like I said, just checking back statistically, the last time the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won 11 games, they were 11-5 in 2020. They went on to be in the wild card, and they went on to eventually win the Super Bowl. They did have a Hall of Fame quarterback in Tom Brady, who was starting for them at that time. But this is going to really let you know how good the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can be if they can get back to that at least 11 plus win season. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to take another step forward this year? Do you think that Baker, the chef, Mayfield is going to cook this year, or do you feel like they're going to struggle? So I just want to thank the fans out there for watching the show. You can catch me on Spotify. You can also catch me on YouTube as well. I want to thank the sponsors out there for putting sponsorship on the show. Continue to keep watching the show as we are doing our NFL previews of each team as we get ready for the regular season. So got more to come in the NFC South. All right, this is Rico, Real Talk Sports. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, peace, peace.